I suppose, of course, in 5 minutes, we're now at the point where the inspector leaves. Quite often cut down a bit in what we see on stage, but there's some very important parts here. Let's see, first of all, that the thing he is doing here is taking charge masterfully. Not just is he in control, but he's in control masterfully. He's the master. And it works, because as he says stop, they're suddenly quiet and stare at him. So you can see he has total control. Each of you help kill her, and he goes around one to one, and pretty much in reverse order from the way he did this. Now, look at the reactions. He goes round to Mrs. Burling first of all, and what's cleverly done here is we get no reaction, as so often happens with Mrs. Burling. When she's brought to the edge and she has nothing to say, she just doesn't say anything. It moves on to Eric. Remember what you did, I'm not like to forget. And his phrase here is that used a friend of a stupid and drunken evening as if she was an animal, a thing, not a person. Again, the point he's made is, and it goes with all of them, all the Burlings, they dehumanised her. If you remember back to Burling at the beginning saying that she's a labour cost. With Sheila, he doesn't even need to speak to her. He just looks at her. Again, she takes, like she did at the beginning, more responsibility than she needs to. I started it. And he says, you helped, but you didn't start it, and turns on Burling. And now, having just reminded them, normally he is now speaking savagely to Burling, accusing him. You started it. You made pay a heavy price for that. Now she'll make you pay a heavy price still. He is placing the blame squarely on Arthur Burling. And Burling's response is to do what he always does, throw money at the problem. Could be construed as a bribe, surely, but that's the only way he can think about it. I mean, when he says I give thousands, I don't think he's really suggesting I'll give thousands to Eva Smith now. I think he's more suggesting I'll give it to anyone to make it go away. And of course, the inspector just points out you're offering the money at the wrong time. So it carries on. It's interesting to notice that having not had Gerald there, nor the young man Croft, the inspector makes the point that he at least had some affection for her and made her happy for a time. He kind of almost lets him off a little bit. And I think to many of us, we wouldn't agree as a modern audience here. Many people see what Gerald did as almost worse than most of the others. But it shows us sometimes a difference between what Priestley is saying and us. Now he goes to the famous last speech. Huge importance in certain areas. Millions and millions of Eva Smiths and John Smiths still left with us, not meaning that there's plenty of others. So there's more, there's other opportunities. You've lost this one, now don't lose any more. That's essentially what he's saying here. Not that there are millions of Eva Smiths because she changed her name so many times, as one student wrote at one point. And the key thing is here is that they have fears, hopes and fears, suffering, and most importantly, a chance of happiness. He is basically doing the opposite of what they were doing. He is humanizing her, whereas up here, she was being dehumanized. He carries on, he talks about these key words, intertwined. They're intertwined with us. That key phrase, because essentially it's suggesting we can't untangle it. It's not that we walk alongside them, we have to live alongside them, we're actually intertwined with them. We don't live alone, we're members of one body, we're responsible for each other. Okay, quite clear and plain. Some people make more of we're members of one body than I think possibly it needs to have, but that's an interpretation. And he finishes with this very, very important line: if men won't learn that lesson, they'll be taught it in fire, blood and anguish. Clearly a reference to the war. Some have suggested hell as well, but really it's a reference to the war and the wars that are coming. And remember, of course, they've already come, and therefore, essentially, what we're seeing is men did not learn that lesson. And out he goes, leaving them to brood dreadfully.